Hello world, what's happening, man? Yeah, if you're watching this video right now, you are actually at the right place. You are actually tuned in and logged down to the Ossy Blue channel. And I go by the name Ossy Blue for those of y'all who don't know. And for those of y'all who have been a part of this community, man, I see y'all. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the comments. God bless y'all. So on today's video, we'll be talking about a topic that is rarely talked about, rarely discussed about, and which is the history of hip hop music in Nigeria as a whole. A lot of us are actually aware and a lot of us are familiar with hip hop sound, hip hop music, and everything, but we do not really know the origins of this genre of music we call hip hop today as it is in Nigeria. So let's kick off by saying, yeah, as we all know, hip hop music originated from the United States in the late 70s in Brooklyn, New York, from the likes of DJ Kool Herc, African Bambata, and it just spread out through the whole African American community. But the first interaction that hip hop had in Africa was in the French speaking African nation of Senegal, where we had the groups like the Positive Black Soul and MC Solar doing their thing back in the mid 80s. But this is not about Senegal right here. This video isn't about the history of hip hop in Senegal. This is history of hip hop in Nigeria. So how did hip hop start in Nigeria, you may ask? Yes. So hip hop music started off in Nigeria in the mid 80s, late 80s and early 90s. It was actually inspired by the then dictatorship government of Nigeria, you understand? So at that point, Nigeria was in total crisis. It's not like we're not still in that total crisis. The devaluation of the naira currency, unemployment rates and everything. So the youth at the point in time saw hip hop music as a way of venting. They were already aware of hip hop going down in the United States and other countries as well being adopted. So over here in Nigeria, it was picked up and it was used as a tool to vent and to actually escape the whole madness, the whole situation that was going down in the country as a result of dictatorship governance in the mid 80s, early 90s period. Now going forward, the earliest hip hop people that the pioneers of hip hop music in Nigeria range from Danny Wilson, the duo group Junior and Pretty. If you remember Junior and Pretty, that had the song Bolanle, Fine Fine Baby Bolanle, back in the day for OGs, if you remember. But if you were not, I think that video has to be on YouTube or somewhere. You can actually check out that video. That was a classic back in the day. I remember I was about, should I say, like 5 or 6 watching that video, and it was actually hilarious, and the whole content, the whole concept of the song. Then after moving forward, after Junior and Pretty, we also had the likes of the Remedies. Now the Remedies was a hip hop group that consisted of 3 people. Namely Tony Tetwila, Eddie Montana himself, and of course Idris Abdul Karim. Then moving forward, a different era of music, of hip hop music group that came up, the likes of the Plantation Boys. You had, of course, Blackface, Face, and Two-Face Idibia, as Tubaba himself, as we know him today. Then this was an era where everybody wanted to actually find a way of talking and saying and expressing themselves out to the government so that people could be aware, people could be conscious of what was actually going down in Nigeria. Now moving forward, that was an era after the Plantation Boys. We also had groups like Rough, Rugged and Raw, holding it down also for the Nigerian hip hop community at that point in time. So hip hop has been around for should we say over like between 30 to 35 years in Nigeria. And Nigerian hip hop has actually had the opportunity to celebrate great hip hop acts over this era of time. You know, when we talk about hip hop acts, you see the Remedies actually split up with Eddie Montana going his way, Tony Tetuela going his way, and Idris Abdul Karim actually picking up the mantle. And boom, Idris Abdul Karim was the face of Nigerian hip hop at one point in time. For those who did not know that, you know, Idris always had this kind of like swag at that point in time that actually wowed people. You know, he actually wowed watching Idris Abdul Karim on TV, you know, with his towel around his head, you know, his give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, his raps and shit. You know, it was something, it was a sight to behold. You know, it was something to us at that point in time. Then moving after the era of Idris Abdul Karim, it was the era of Rugged D Baba himself. That's the Rugged Man. I remember playing the Rugged Man's album. That's the album which had Peace of War, songs like Peace of War, yeah. Had Barajel on that album. That album was actually fire. And before I even move further than that, I recall the Tribesmen. Of course, how could you talk about hip hop in Nigeria and forget to mention the Tribesmen? The Tribesmen used to consist of LD the Don, Freestyle, and KB. The Tribesmen actually went forward to expand the group, making them a bigger movement, like a collective, which included Sasha P, Blaze, Dell, Dr. Seed. He used to be known as SID back in the day. Two Shots, Umunamo, you know, they call themselves the Tribe. Yeah, the Tribe. Pardon me, the Tribe. So it was a slow transition from the 1999 era down to the 2000 era. So Rugged D Baba's era was in the 2000 era. Pardon me, I should have mentioned that earlier, just to make it clear. So moving forward, after Rugged Man's era came the era of Mode 9. Now, Mode 9 at his peak was untouchable. You know, Mode 9 actually introduced the Nigerian music industry to a new form of lyricism, creative lyricism. His lyrics consisted of punchlines, wordplays. You know, he was able to actually paint real pictures with words, like intelligently at that point in time. So Modo held the game down. He dropped the IX Files, which had Elbow Room on it. He had Malcolm IX, which had Elbow Room on it. He dropped Paradigm Shift. Yes, Paradigm Shift 2 was a very dope album. I listened to that album. Like, I really listened to that album. So after the era of Modo, and I must also add, before Mode 9 came up as like a mainstream artist, he was underground with the SWAT Roots. Now the SWAT Roots were a group that were based in Abuja, and the SWAT Roots consisted of Overdose, well known as OD, Brooklyn, you know Brooklyn from Waiting I Want, I go get, and if una no give out to me, I go vex, and if I vex, all of una I go. That song, that was a very classic song, a very dope song growing up. Then we are in the SWAT Roots also had Terry the Rap Man, and had 6 Foot Plus in it. Moving forward, so Mode 9's era, Mode 9 came up and he was on top of the game. After Mode 9's era, we had we had two people actually come up after Mode 9. It was NATO C and MI. Now at this point where NATO C and MI were in the game, this was the period where we had a lot of Nigerians who lived outside Nigeria, who were based outside Nigeria, come back to Nigeria to establish the hip-hop industry in Nigeria, with the likes of JJC and 419 Squad coming back, Don Jazzy and the Band coming back to Nigeria and having a niche for themselves right here. So during the era of NATO C and MI Abaga, while they were doing what they were doing at that point, NATO C had 2 fire albums, You Know My P and Super C Season, which had Kenny Big Deal, as we all know it. You know, he had 5 and 6 on that album. He had what was this? My Ex-Girlfriend featuring Dr. Frabs. God rest his soul. That album was a very, very classic album as well. Incredible. MI on the other hand had a very incredible album titled Talk About It. Yes, that album was worth talking about. It had a very hot song, and that song still resonates till tomorrow. The title of the song is Safe, featuring the Genie. That song was also a transition point in the hip hop industry coming forward, and everybody at that point in time was rocking with MI Abaga sound, and you know, everybody was like, man, this is fire. And MI as himself came with his own collective crew, which consisted of Ice Prince and Jesse Jags under the Loopy Boys Records, the Chocolate City Records, and they did the fire. They kept it original from day one down till the very moment they decided to, you know how how sad all these groups actually go when someone has to move, you know. But this is not what the video is about. This is just a history of how hip hop had actually come in Nigeria and how it has transitioned so far. But how can we talk about hip hop music in Nigeria without mentioning people who actually moved the industry of hip hop? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Keke and the D1s of the game. They actually pushed the industry. They made the whole world see the Nigerian hip hop industry and put it out there. It was at that point in time, the Keke and D1 were referred to the African PDDs of their time. So it has actually been a very long journey for hip hop, right from the late 80s, early 90s down to this era, and we have seen different types of transitions. We've seen different eras of music, different artists, different rap artists come and dominate the game and also go. So if you actually enjoyed this video for this brief history of hip hop music in Nigeria, I did too, sharing it with y'all, man. I actually did. I wish I could do more, but if you actually want to see more of these videos, you can comment under these videos whatever you think that I missed out, whatever group, whatever name you feel like, because I am actually going off the top, you know, like I'm just going off the top, telling you how the history of hip hop has been in Nigeria. So I'll be reading your comments, and as soon as I read your comments and I see whatever suggestions or whatever topics you want me to talk about on this channel in my next video, trust me, I'm gonna address it, and then we know what we do and grow this community. From this side, it's Sway all day, it's all love, and you know what it is. Ossy Bleu say so. Peace.